Another question: Are you monitor the diversion at histograms, or not? Conversion to diversion.
I do. Yes, I do sometimes do that. Not as much as I used to, but I do take that in consideration, especially on the higher time frame. If I'm looking at a 4-hour chart or a 1-hour chart, and I'm not
Okay.
completely sure, but I do see divergence. I know the market is trying to turn around, so that does play a little influence on me. I just don't use it as much as I used to, because it's I'm more intraday trading. Just trying to find the high and low of the day, and that's all I really need. Is I once I identify the high, is everything in sync to go the opposite direction? Then I'm taking my trade. Because as you can see, these are the 3 sessions, and
Yes.
you have your low of the day and your high of the day. And all I'm playing is off the low and off the high to catch my trades. So it doesn't matter if I have divergence or I don't. This is my high of the day, and I'm playing off of that. I just need everything to get in sync. Right?
Okay.
This could be this is divergence right here. Oh, and actually, no, that's just continuation. That's not divergence on that chart. No, that's not divergence, but I don't see it on this chart.
You have divergence at the H12 on the 1-hour chart. No, on the right side. On the right side, right there. Right side at the bottom. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, that peak and the peak after. No. That peak and the peak after on the right side. Santiago, keep going left. I'm saying right side. Go to the right.
The one fully formed peak and the one that's not.
It's forming right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's forming.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting to form divergence. Correct. Yeah, this is starting to form. So I know this is going to be probably limited to another move up. It is forming divergence. So in essence, you can see the divergence. The divergence trying to form, and it could influence, that the market may turn around. But I'm more concerned intraday. Where's my high and low, and I trade off for that. Because that's what's, regardless of what the market is trying to do overall. If it wants to turn around later on, my main concern is what's going on today. And today we had an initial low, and we had a high, and we traded off the initial low and traded off the initial high. Now we're looking for the low of the day, and this could be the low of the day, and it may just transition back into a move back into the range, right, or back up here. But that's how I've developed my trade is to concentrate off the highs and lows of the day. That'll give you your trade for the day.
So you would say, okay, for those individuals, I guess, if you're an intraday trader, this is cool, but I would like to know, like Rajiv, how would you approach if you're just looking at the 1 hour, if you were looking for like a possible swing trade, what would be your approach? The same thing, but just shift everything to the higher time frame, and your lowest time frame being the 15-minute?
No. If I'm doing swing trading, I'm looking at the transition of D2 filter at the bottom.
You want to take the because I might have to leave it in a little bit. You want to take control?
I'll have to bring up my charts, but I can do that.
I mean, I understand you guys probably pressed for time. You could just give me a quick boss. I mean, you don't have to really show me. Just tell me what your approach would be.
No, because he has a little bit more time that he can.
Oh, okay.
Explaining. Yeah, it's
I'm
beneficial to the group too if he could explain it, because he concentrates a lot more on the swing trades.
Okay.
Right now, I'm concentrating more on intraday trading to get
Yeah,
my
I was just saying that to satisfy.
I am. Yeah.
I was saying that
I
to
am open to the
satisfy
fact
those
of swing trading.
individuals that I was saying that to satisfy possibly those individuals that's on the call that do look at the higher time frame, that don't look at the lower time frame, since we do have a little time left over.
Yeah. Hold
All
on.
right. Can you stop sharing your screen, Santiago?
Or how do I do that?
Just to
pause
stop share.
or-
Yeah.
Stop share.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay. So you guys should be able to see my screen, right? So
Yep.
my mouse moving.
Yes,
And thanks, Santiago.
Thank you, Santiago. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Santiago.
Hopefully that'll help a little bit, or at least get you in a better track. And then next time we'll have more questions and maybe a longer session. And we can go a little faster. Right now we was going step by step to try to, answer the questions of the timing and the change in colors and how we can negate that and improve that. So if you guys have any suggestions, you can put it in, let us know, and we can play around with it and adjust any levels, any timeframes to that to make it easier for you guys. So we are open. We are always open to suggestions to make things better. Don't. You have suggestions, we can play around with it and make it better for the group. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Santiago. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Santiago.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's a pound yen chart, as you can see. Pound yen on a 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yeah,
So here's the transition on the D2 right there. As you can see, it changed from red to blue, right?
Yes.
yes,
So, and I got a 1 ball retrace done. So I'm not dropping this to a 5-minute chart to look for an entry. Okay, because my H4 is not in sync yet. If I was just staying on the 1 minute, I would just, this is my entry right here. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
and so I'll just mark my entry. And here's my stop. Stop's going to be a little larger if I'm staying on the 1 hour. That's a 36 pip stop. Okay. And now I'm just looking for D2 to transition over, and it's not transition, right? So I'm up 240 pips. So that's 128 risk reward.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I'm trading just this pair, for example, I have an add-on here, right?
Yeah.
I have an add-on here. And depending on how many add-ons I want to do, but there's another one here. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
now I do have a retracement, right? So that's where the decision point comes in. Do I want to get out over here, wait for the retracement and get back in? Or should I just follow this and stay in?
Yeah. Somebody could exit all their trades previous to that and then re-enter.
Correct. This is the heartburn
Yeah.
area. So this is a 132 pip retracement.
Yeah,
No.
that-
I don't want to blow your minds, but in this stage, I'm at a lower time frame when I'm going short. I still
Yeah.
have my long trades on, but I'm hedging short.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's say we don't do that. So here is a break-even trade, right? This is a break-even. And this
Yep.
is 80 pips. And this is 47 pips. That's 227 pips. Okay. Then I'm re-entering over here. I have an add-on here. And I have an add-on here. I just move these up. My entry is here. It's not an ideal entry because stop loss is too large. So it's probably entries over here.
I'm starting to notice, just a quick thought. I'm starting to notice that when we see a transition, we need to wait for a pullback.
Yes, it's the 1, 2, 3 trade, right? One,
Okay.
2, 3. It's always like that. It's 1, 2, 3, right? So this is an aggressive entry at the beginning, right? And that's why your stop loss was way down there. Now, if I drop this down to the 5, I'd probably get a better stop loss. Okay, but then I'll be taken out over here. So if you wait for the, let me take these out. So if these two are my entries, how much am I up? I'm up 51 pips here and 130, so 180 pips plus 150, 330 pips in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That's already met my goals.
Yeah.
Well, half my goals anyway in a week.
Yeah.
That's the way I normally trade. Now, I'm not just trading one pair, right? But I'm applying the same principle to either the pound dollar, the euro dollar, or the euro yen. Those are the four pairs I trade most. Now, one advantage to this, in my mind, is I don't care what the news is.
Yeah.
Because the news is not going to influence a half-weekly trend. It's going to be a quick flip on the 4-hour, but the half-weekly, the D2, is not going to change.
Yeah.
So you probably heard the expression that the news items fulfill the technicals for market makers, and then they resume in the direction that originally had the trend.
Yeah.
So if people are Fibonacci traders and things like that, it usually takes the stops out at their Fibonacci levels or gets their profits. They're basically collecting contracts on the news. If you're trading a longer time frame, that doesn't make any difference. So that's how I trade the 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, come on, if I drop it to the 5.
I guess I was expecting a deeper pullback on when you're looking at the D2. I see you got a yellow ball at the bottom. For some reason, I was just expecting a deeper pullback as far as where it actually pulled back at on your 1 hour. I guess as long as you have some sort of retrace and everything, once everything lines up to get back in to go long.
Yeah, this retrace was valid till here, right? As a synced trade to go short.
If you look all the way to your right, to your left, where you get your first yellow ball, if you're looking at where the D2 transitions. Well, I guess you said an H12, that's what you're looking at? Because I see
D2.
the H12.
No,
Okay.
D2. If D2 is not in sync here, I'm not trading the 1 hour. I'm trading the 15-minute on this. Here's the 15-minute trade right there.
Okay.
5-minute, 15-minute, whatever. As 15-minute is the H12 is the trend.
Okay.
Like what Santiago was saying, showing today, the H4 was not in sync with the H12, so that became a 5-minute trade.
Okay.
Or a 1-minute trade. So that's that. I'm looking at my 1 hour and seeing, okay, where is my trade? Is my trade on the 1 hour, the 15-minute, or the 5-minute?
Okay.
It tells me right away which time frame my trade is on. And then it's up to me to say, do I really need to do a 5-minute trade, or do I really need to trade on the 15-minute, or should I just stick with the 1 hour, right? That's a decision as a trader I have to make. If you're doing daily intraday trades, then you're just trading the 4 hour anyway. You go to the 15-minute, and that's where you're looking for the sinks. Right, your H12 turned over here. H4 game in sync, everything's in sync, and you're looking for a long trade. You don't get a long trade till here. Right there. And then you say, okay, if I'm going to get in, let's say on this yellow ball, I don't have a sink. I have a sink, but it's not on the right side over here, right?
Yep.
I don't know if I have enough data on the 1 minute chart. Let's see. Oh, I do. Okay. So I've not dropped down to the 1 minute chart because that's where I take my entries on a 15-minute trade. Here's my trade right here. Everything's in sync. Here's my entry. And this is also market structure, by the way. Here's my stop. It's a 7 pip stop. Now I'm back on the 15. And I'm going to stay in it till the H12 turns, which is here. And that's 111 pips. Now, if I really want to do add-ons, here's an add-on. I take my add-on on the 15 minutes for the safer. Here's another add-on. Here's no. And here's an add-on. Right? Exit is over here. This is a break-even trade. And 70 pips. 132 and 110, 200 and some, 240 pips in a day and a half. So again, this is intraday trading, right? But it took a little longer than 1 day.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm just doing it on the 5 minute, I'm just following the H4.
Mhm.
And the H4, let's put it this way. Here's a short, right? And this is going long. I'm not going to sit in my seat and print that this is going long and I'm being asked to go short. No, because I have a H1 that's going in the right direction after the ball, right?
Yeah.
Perfect time to drop it to H1. This is I'm a scalper now. I'm in the M1. I'm a scalper at this point. Here's my entry. Now, 15 pip on a 1 minute? No, I don't think so. Okay, so I go over here. Just have to find the right entry, basically. Here's my entry right here. This is part of money management, market structure, this whole shebang, right? So here's my 4 pip stop loss. I'm back on the 5. And I get stopped out. All right, so I lost 4 pips. Where's my next trade? Right there. Right there. That's the 1 ball retracement. Wait for it to finish. And here's my entry. Now this would be the ideal stop loss with 1 pip, but I give it a little space. You know, I don't want it too close. 6 pip stop loss back to the 5 minute. And I get an exit. Yeah, because the 1 hour changed. That's 25 pips. So I made 20 pips net. This is one of the days I didn't make my 30 pips. Was there any sweat in doing that? No. Because I knew from this time frame where my trade was. Any given time frame, I know where my trade is. Am I making sense? I know you asked for the long-term swing, but that's, if you're doing H4, this is position trading now. You're going to go for weeks, right? Couple of weeks, 3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Your longest time frame is your D2 again, right? Right there. Transition is on the, here's your yellow ball, right? But
Yeah, it
nothing
gives you,
synced up.
no, but it gives you a heads up that you have a change coming.
Right. So my H4 entries are on the 15-minute chart. So where's my entry? I have to be
It's a
patient.
ways out there, yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have moved that. Let me leave that here. Let's use a new line. Somewhere here. That's my entry, right?
Yeah.
Here's the entry. Here's my stop loss. And that's a 8 pip stop loss. Now I'm back on the 4. Let's take a look. Transitioned. But it didn't give me an entry to all the way here.
Yeah,
And look where I entered, at the bottom of this, rather than waiting all the way at the top. Here's my exit.
Hey guys, if I drop off, am I gonna lose everybody or?
No, I'm the host, so
Oh,
you're fine.
okay.
All
All
right,
right, guys, you guys have a good weekend. Hopefully we can do this again.
all right. Take it easy, Santiago.
thanks, Santiago. Have a good weekend.
All right.
Bye. Bye,
All
Santiago.
right, you too. Bye.
Okay, so that's 270 pips in a week. And then you're back here. You're trying to go short. And this will be your exit. You're back on the 15. And say, where's my short? Here's my yellow ball. You can take an aggressive entry here, right? It's only the second bar. So if you do that, you get the best entry, but here's the entry.
You have the safer if you wait for the 1, 2, 3, basically.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. Back on the 4. Here's my exit, it's 150 something. But since I got the yellow ball here and out of sync over here,
Taking your
250
regrets.
pips. So somewhere in here, that's it. 170, 180 pips. I repeat the process again, right? You got out in this bar. You go down to the 15. And you're looking for an entry. Entry is right there. The stop loss is not bearable. So Asian section, no. Here's the entry. It requires some patience if you're doing long-term trading. This is a 22 pip stop loss. Now you're back on the 4. And you're still in the trade, but you're up 200 and I can't even read that, 230 pips. You have an add-on here. And you have an add-on here. So that's 70 plus 140, 210. And 230, 440 pips in a week and a half. Makes sense?
Has the D1 been replaced with the H12 in most time frame charts?
Yeah, the D1, D1 we thought was too long, so we made it half a day, which is the H12. And the
In
weekly was
between.
too, go ahead.
It's in between better.
Yeah. It gives you your transitions faster and it matches the trends.
Thank you.
And this is still the daily candle. It's not the H12, it's the daily candle. Because you want to do the daily swing. Let me see if I change that to. I just don't like the transitions when, oops, not that. 3 times 9, 7, 5, 6. Yeah, so I just don't like this jagged line, but that's okay. You're not paying attention to the line. It doesn't change anything down here or the snatcher. If you make this, because we're not using that, right? If you were using that, then if you just stayed on the 4-hour chart, this is a trade right here. Straight trade, blue to blue. Red, but we're not doing that. So go back to the dailies are smoother. Make sense what I did?
Yes, yeah, it did.
That's the long-term trading. So you have position, you have half a position, which is H1. You have intraday, which is 15, and then you have scalp, which is 5 and 1.
Yeah,
And you can accomplish that with just looking at your filters to see which one is lining up and what type of trader you want to be.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody just wanted to stick with a certain, if they just want to do intraday, then they just stick to those that time frame, or maybe
Just stick on
two.
the 15 and make
Yeah.
sure your bottom time frame is matching up with the
Yeah, you get
with the
everything
balls.
everything in
Yeah.
sync on that one, and
Well, you need like on the 15-minute, right? Once you get the ball here, you're looking for shorts.
yeah,
You can wait for this to transition over or go to the 1 minute and take your entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the 1 minute for this. Probably don't, but let's take a look. Yeah, don't. Okay, so I have to get closer. Let's take a flat day. It's kind of a flat day, right? So
yeah,
you're not trading the Asian session. Here is a European session, right?
mm-hmm.
It just started on the Euro session. 9 o'clock bar is the Euro session. You got a red ball, 2-ball retracement, right? But it's not synced up over here. Now you drop it to the 1 minute. Now this is what Len was saying is advanced.
Yeah,
So this is too far away, right? The stop loss is too far. Okay, so next entry is here. Stop loss 7 pips, that's acceptable. Back to the 15. And you're playing the H12. But if you just want to get out at the end of the day, you got a 2-ball here. 82 pips, or you can wait for the H4 to turn. It's 83 pips. That's the way I'm looking at the market. Depending on the type of trader I am. I'm trading a certain time frame. I know which time frame my entry is on.
yeah,
I'm just playing that. So I'm not trading the 3-ball as my entry. I'm just trading it as a direction, a heads up.
Yeah.
This 2 balls a heads up. 1 ball is a heads up. If I'm the Asian section, this like what Len does. Here's the heads up. And my entry is probably somewhere over here. The stop loss here and drop it down to the 1. But I don't have the data right on that edge. Hey, drop it to the 5. So my entry is here. Stop loss is here. Back on the 15. 15 is not a trade till it gets over here.
yeah,
So if you're just playing the Asian session, you're looking at this and saying, okay, 3 ball happened here. Here's my trade. What is this? 36 pips,
Yeah.
you know, and then you're in the Euro session and do whatever you need. Now, the point is that here's the low of the session, here's the low of the day. So you know you're going long anyway, right?
Yeah.
And then you transition over here and you say, I have the high of the session, or I'm waiting for a high of the session. And that happens here. But you still have looking for a high of the day.
Yeah.
So here you come to the low of the session and you're back in a long because this is still long. Here's your possible entry. Let's move this up just to get an estimate. And you're on the 15-minute chart, so while you're on the 5-minute chart, you can drop it to the 1. And here's my entry. No, here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. 10 pips is a little large for it. You're living large. Okay, H4 is good. Let's see what the 15 minute is doing. Okay, 15 minute is good too. And my exit, if I stay that long, here, it's 40 pips. If I get out at the end of the US session at the 2 ball, it's 40 pips. It's not complicated. It's how you look at it. What do you want to do? What do you want your stop loss is? That's your money management technique, right?
Yep.
Based on that, you have your lot size, right? Because lot size can change based on your
Yeah.
risk. Now, let's say you do a standard of 15 pips and you have the same lot size at that point, right?
Yeah.
And then you take your trade. Some people are using automatic placement of trades, you know, so then they have to have a standard risk with a standard lot size. And you go from there. Now, Len would have been happy with this trade. You go to the high of the day, basically. High of the session. Len's still around, or you left us? He's still here. Okay. H1, I mean M1. Where's my entry? Entry is here. Where's my stop loss? Nine pips. Okay. Go to the 15. Came close, didn't take me out. If you waited for the 1, 2, 3, then your entry would be here somewhere. Let's say I take an add-on over there. I'm just waiting. Here's the end of the day, you know, US session.
Yeah.
Let's say we get out here, you know, you weren't paying attention. That's 97 plus 98 or 100, 197 pips. If you started in the Asian session, not
Yeah.
if you started in the Euro session, you got 97.
Yeah.
Anything else I can share?
No, I'm good. I've got a lot to work with here.
Okay. What I said in my chat last night, and that sounded snippety, I guess, was basically you have to be comfortable with one system, master it, and use it to make money. If you use 2 or 3 different systems, then the
Yeah.
rules are contradicting in those systems because the indicators are contradicting, right?
Yeah.
And that confuses the mind. That's all I meant to say. And, you know, whatever you guys are comfortable with, you use that, but
Yeah.
make sure when the contradiction happens, which system prevails, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, from what I saw on your charts, Deborah, you're using Heikenashi's and
Oh, I know. I
Cool.
changed it all back. What happened was I started with this system, and then when everything changed and the 3-ball on the 1 minute, it messed with my psychology. So I just need to practice with this because I like the system and you guys are successful with it. So follow the leader.
I mean, there is no system that's 100% foolproof.
Right.
I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
always going to be dependent on the interpretation of the trader, right? And
Mhm.
their own psychology, risk management, money management techniques, right? I mean, I go for 30 pips a day, but 97 pips, I would have been kicking myself. What the hell did I get out at night? But that's something you have to live with.
Mhm.
I met my goals, I met my plan. I should be happy, but I'll still be kicking myself. But that's okay. Next day I'll come back and make my 30 and I'll be happy. But that's my psychology. Those are my goals. Your goals may be different. Your psychology is different. This system is just telling you what your entries are. After that, exits are up to you. Your plan, you have to stick to your plan, right?
Mhm.
What I've found in other systems, the entry is ambiguous. And that just doesn't sit well with me. Because if I have to think twice about my entry, then my trade is going to be iffy anyway.
Mhm.
And this just lays out what my risk is, first of all, because the risk is only 10 pips. I lose 10 pips all day in the previous trades. What's the matter here? But if I lose 10 pips, but I make 30 pips, I'm doing a 1-to-3 ratio. I'm still going to make money. If I lose 10 pips, it's not going to take me more than a day to make it up. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
In your, what do you call it? Well, the FITMO and all that, they're going 1%. I don't know what they limit you to 1% or 5% losses, and then your goals are set up by you. But if you lose 5% one day, it's going to take you a whole week to get back to break even. So that's something you have to think about. Do I really need to take the max limit on my losses, or do I need to adjust that to 1% or 2%? So I only take 1, maybe 2 days to make it up rather than wait a full week.
Mhm.
Those are the things that you have to think through when you're setting limits on your losses for the day. How many days it will take me for me to make it up? And will the system let me do that? And that's when everything comes to life, right? Your risk management comes to life, money management comes to life. And then you are more successful than not because you're sticking to that plan. That's part of your plan. If you don't have that in mind, then you're putting 30 pip stop losses and you're wondering why you're not making money.
Mhm.
Because if you're putting 30 pip stop losses, you're going for 100 pips. How often do you make 100 pips in a day?
Right.
Anyway, I didn't want to be. All I wanted to say was that get comfortable with your indicators. If you're not comfortable with these indicators, do not use the system. If you're comfortable with FSS has given you, use that. You're comfortable with it. It's going to make you feel better if your trades. That's all I meant to say. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, there's the old saying of there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Yep.
Comes into play. I mean, it's what you're comfortable with, and that's why when you hear all these different things in the group, people trying different things. I mean, I do whatever. Yeah, I mean, I may or may not look at it, but it's what works for one person isn't going to work for everybody. I mean, what I'm liking, what I'm seeing here is you don't have to change from time frames. You can use the same indicators whether you're trading a scalping or long term. It's basically the same indicators once you get comfortable with them and can use them. I mean, it takes work no matter what setup you're using.
Correct. I mean, the like I said at the very beginning, the flaw with these indicators is you're using higher time frame with these, which means the number of bars where
Yeah.
it confirms the change is somewhere down here for H12. on a
Yeah.
15-minute chart, but you're going to see the changes right away. And this is what Deborah was stating in her chat, was that, yeah, I saw the colors change and I flipped out. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But if you're setting your stop loss to 10 pips, you don't really care. You do care, but you don't really care that you're losing 10 pips. But you'll come back and it'll give you another trade if it's still in the same trend. If I
Yeah.
take this trade over here and lose 10 pips, then this still giving me another entry to go forward. You just have to be confident that this is going to work and you're comfortable with where it's going and what your direction is, right?
Mhm.
These three balls set your direction. Yes, they're not static. But if they're not static and you're going down to the lower time frame, it won't give you an entry anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the check and balance that you have to develop and feel comfortable.
Those
Makes sense.
balls do not predict the future. In other words, when you see one, that doesn't mean it knows what the high or low is of that swing. If it extends, it's just going to move the ball to wherever finally does end up being
Correct.
the one. And so you need the colors, including the bar colors, to really be confirmation. And that's not even necessarily going to be a good reversal entry.
Correct.
So don't worry about monitoring that as a, oh, I'm concerned about my profit target now, because it's really not saying anything yet.
Correct. This three ball was over here. Okay, I'll tell you that. This three ball was over here.
Right.
You're not trading this, but you're looking at it saying, okay, I'm going to look for a short. But here, look at here. You're really going to go short with the three ball over here and the H12 going long? It's a rhetorical question, but you're obviously not going to look for a short in this area,
No.
right? It started to go long over here, and you get in and say, okay, here's an entry, but then you're in a one ball retrace. Here's the entry. And you go break even. That's a winning trade. If you come out as 0 pips, at least you made the attempt. Then it starts to turn, and let's say a flip-flop, but your stop is over here and you're in a trade. It never came back to test market structure, right?
Yeah.
And you say, okay, now I have a 2-ball retracement and I'm getting another entry. What do I do? It's up to you at that point to take the trade. You can tighten your stops. Okay, so your first trade will be almost at break even or a little less than that. And the second trade will only have a 4 or 5 pip stop. Now you got 2 entries, and you look at what happened. You're trading the half-day trend. You're not trading a 5-minute trend. Okay.
Yeah.
If the half-day trend gets set, guess what? You're going to make a lot of pips. And this is on the 15-minute chart. If you're trading on the 5-minute chart, you're trading a 4-hour trend. That's 80, 240 divided by 48 bars difference between a 5-minute and a 240. So this is not going to change like flip-flop, except when the trend is changing. That's the beauty of following the larger time frame. Does that make sense? Now, I heard a question. Should I use the 4-hour here or should I use a multiplier? Right? I think Costas asked that question. If you use a multiplier, this will not be smooth red. This will be red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. What happens if you're trading this trend and saying, okay, it's a blue, now I'm getting out, then it turns red. Then it turns blue again, then it turns red. This is why I do not like using multipliers. I live with the flip-flops. Because the flip-flops give me a heads up anyway that the trend is about to change.
I discovered that too. I prefer your way.
Yeah. I like the smoothness of the higher time frames to keep my head straight. That's the reason I use actual timeframes, not multipliers on the actual thingies. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
Yeah,
Yes,
that's my reasoning behind that. So if you use a 10-minute here, you're going to use a multiplier, and it won't be
Yeah.
as smooth as a 15-minute. I'm not against using the 10-minute. I mean, that's your strategy changes a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the rule of thumb would be use as little multiplication as you can get by with if you have to use it.
Yeah, I mean, we are on the H12 and D2, we are using a multiplication, right?
Right.
We have no choice. We don't have standard timeframes for those. So now MT5, I understand has this, but that's, you're not using MT5. If you were using a multiplier, and this is just a time, and you're in this trade, I would suggest you stay in the trade till this goes back up, or you get a yellow ball. And not worry about the color change. So as long as it's below 0, it's still bearish. Okay,
yeah,
so that makes sense. Now,
Yes.
the problem with that, using a multiplier, let's say using 45 for this, and let's say 3 hour for this. Where is your low of the day and where's your low of the session if there's flip-flopping?
can't really tell.
You can, because it goes red, blue, red, blue, red, blue.
Yeah.
Which one is the low of the day? If it's not smooth, then it becomes a little harder to tell. So that's the other reason why, with the market structure, I did not want to use multipliers, especially on the H1 and the H4.
The other thing with this is you're not going to get a color change until you get to the top of the H4, or I mean, to a completion or a new bar for an H4 or an H1, etc.
Correct. Well, it won't be set in stone, because once that
Right.
bar is over, that's when the color won't change.
I see, yeah, it will in between, and okay, I got you.
But if you're within that time frame, let's say H4, within that 4-hour time frame, it can go flip-flop, right?
Mhm.
Because the price going up and down. That's telling you the price is going sideways. That's the heads up that you're getting. You're in a channel. And you can go to the time frame, draw a channel and say, okay, here's my top, here's my bottom, and then comes technical trading, right? Is it going to break the top or is it going to break the bottom? If it breaks the bottom and you're short, you're good to go. If it's going to break the top, your exit is there. Like you said, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, but you have to understand what the indicators are telling you, not
Yeah.
let them dictate what they're telling you. Okay,
Thank you very much.
any other questions I can answer or anything else I can show you?
Just real quick, if I'm taking the shorter time frame, would I go then a 5-minute chart, use the 4-hour as my
That's your guide.
direction?
Yeah, that's your guide. If it's red, you're going short. If it's blue, you're going long.
Okay, and
Now, if
then
it's
I would
blue
go.
over here, you're waiting for a 3-ball. Now, this 3-ball was probably over here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so now you're looking for a long. Let's do this. This was your 3-ball. You're on a 5-minute chart. Your entry long is here, right? Everything's lined up. Correct?
Correct.
Where's your exit?
I don't know. Or the next 3,
I mean, you have a stop over here, right?
right?
That's a 15 pip stop, but if you drop it to the 1 minute, you can fine tune that. And let's drop it to the 1 minute. Hopefully you have enough data. Okay. So if I drop it to the 1 minute, here's my entry,
Mhm.
here's my stop. Now I'm on the 5 minute. This takes the decision out of your hands, right? You get stopped, you don't get stopped out over here. But you have a 2-ball. This is still a 2-ball. So 3-ball is doing a 1, 2, 3, right?
Mhm.
You have a re-entry over here. It's up to you to take that or not. It's too early, but it's still within that area for me. It's sideways right now. So this was probably flip-flopping. So one of these was flip-flopping back and forth. This was probably going from blue to red to blue. Okay, because of this movement. You got taken out. Are you going to cry for 5 pips?
Maybe. No.
Okay then.
So if I
Well-
were, if I used the 5-minute and entered on the 1, what do you think about getting out at a color change on the 15?
Okay, now, the point is that you were up 25 pips.
Mhm.
You're at break even.
Mhm.
You're not losing any money if it takes you up. Are you going to cry?
No.
Okay. So your next entry long is here, right? Take it down to the 1. One minute entry. Okay, I don't get a long, I get a short now. I have a short entry.
Right.
What is the 5 doing? Holy cow. It's going long. Am I entering a short of the 1 minute? No. I'm out of the market, you get a 3 ball. This is still blue. Well, it's telling me to go long. The 3 ball is telling me that it's turning, right? Right?
Yep.
Now, if I drop it down to the 1, what am I going to get? I'm going to get a long entry, right?
Yeah.
It goes to the 1. And where's my long entry? It doesn't happen to all the way till here. Here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. I get taken out.
Or you can go for 20 pips or 15
Well,
pips.
you're up 17 pips, so you're at break even, so you didn't lose any money.
Right.
Now, you're back in the trade. Here's this entry. Here's a stop loss. 7 pips. 17 pips, you're break even. Back on the 5. Here's your yellow ball. Let's say you exit over there. 47 pips. So all that crying and you still made 47 pips. That's it. You're done. Come in the next day. I know you come in at 5 a.m. So let's just go over there.
Just because you had blue color though, back where you began with the H1 and the H4, they're both just retracing within a downtrend because they're both below the 0 line. So you need to know that you need to take quick profit targets because you're trading against the trend.
Well, when I took the entry over here, there were the H1 was above, the H4 was below.
I see.
But you have a point, yes. But this is 5 o'clock, right? I think it's 5 o'clock. 8, 5, 7, 6 o'clock. Okay, so where's 5? This is 5 a.m. Okay. Correct. This is where you walk in on this trade and say, what am I looking at? Okay, so you moved away from the 3 ball. This is a red. I drop it down to the 1 minute. What do I get? I have a 2 ball retracement. Let it finish. Here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. Back on the 5. Here's the end of the US session. 60 pips. Now, you could get out anywhere you want. You could get out over here. So this is the spike I'm getting out. 28 pips. Now you wait for another entry over here on the 1 minute. I'm just giving you different ways to look at the market. That's all. There's no one good way or one bad way to do it. Here's the entry. Here's the stop loss. 5 minutes. This came close, but probably didn't take you out. Well, you could get out over here. 2 or 6 pips. Here, here, 1 minute. And I'm giving you true scalping now, okay? You're not waiting for the long trend to develop. So where's my entry? My stop loss is 8 pips away, still acceptable. Okay. I don't get a red ball. Here's the end of the US session. Closes over here. 48 pips. So 48 plus 7 plus whatever, right? I think it was 20. So that's 70 pips. Did I really have to sweat it out? Come on, give me a resounding no.
Well, I didn't hear your question.
I said, did you really have to sweat out any of these triggers?
No.
Is it, should I get in here? What is my stop loss? What is any of those questions come to your mind?
No. Once you're comfortable with the system, it is very, very easy.
The entries are very easy, but your exits again, you know, if you were entering here somewhere.
Quick question. So if you look at the 4-hour H4 and it's blue.
Yeah.
Then you look at your 15-minute, and when that color changes, then you skip over to the 1. Is that what you were doing?
No. When I'm getting my entry on the 5 minute, right?
Mhm.
And I'm just going to say, let's take an entry. I'm not looking down. I'm just saying it's an entry. And H4 is blue, right? I'll take a peek at my 15 minute and say, what is my, this is 12. H12 is blue, right?
Mhm.
My entry was here somewhere. Why am I on the 5 minute at that point? My trade is actually on the 15, right?
Mhm.
What is my H1 doing at this point? Oh, H1 is also blue. Guess where my trade is? I'm no longer a scalper. I'm a semi-position trader at this point, aren't I?
Okay.
When you said H1 is also blue, where were you looking there?
She was asking, where do I switch my time frames? How do I switch my time frames?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I just took a position. I didn't pay attention here, but the actual positions. This is the actual position, right? But it's a 2-ball retracement. So this is a position, right? Correct? You
Mhm.
guys agree? All right. At this point, I'm looking at my H4. H4 is blue. I'm just curious. What is my 15-minute? Holy cow, the 12 is blue. So I'm no longer looking at the 5 minute. I'm on the 15-minute chart, right? That's the first thing I checked, correct?
Mhm.
Now I say, okay, let's for kicks, let me look at my H1. Ah, D2 is blue. Am I looking at the 15-minute chart?
No.
I'm on my H1 and I'm up 134 pips. Where did I start this trade? On the 5 minute or the 1 minute chart? That's where my entry was.
Okay.
After this one ball form, I'm at break even. It's a stress-free trade. Layer run. Then my stop loss moves here. Layer run. At this point, I'm up 50, 60 pips. Whatever your goal is, right? 60 pips in 2 days, I already met my 2-day goal. Is that clear what I did?
Yes.
But I go top down. I don't go bottom up. I start on the 1 hour and see where my trade is. Like here, my trade I know is on the 15. Here I know it's on the 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm all the way down here on this 3 ball, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, the 4 hour is a 1 minute, 1 hour chart, 4 hour, the 4 hour will conform over here, but I'm in the 3rd hour of the 4 hour, right? What time is this? This is 10 o'clock, which is 3. So I got another 2 hours on the 4 hour bar. So I'm in the middle somewhere. Okay. That makes sense. So it is not an hourly trade. It is not a 15-minute trade. Let me drop it to the 5 minute. All right, 5 minute. Everything syncs up. Entry. Stop loss. It's not acceptable. 28 pips. Next entry. Stop loss. You see how I'm evaluating the trade before I enter? 20 pips. No good. Next entry. I'm getting further and further away from the 3 ball, so I have to be cautious now. Okay, no, not an entry anywhere here. This may be acceptable, but I'm too far. So I'm expecting a retrace. All right. At this stage, I'm over here. What is my 1 hour doing? This is where I started. All right, so sideways market, right? It's a short on the 5 minute. Am I trading the 5 minute? Okay, let's see if I can do a short. It's a 1 ball retrace anyway. Let's see if I got a short trade. Here's a short. See how I'm flip-flopping between buy and sell? Here's my stop loss. 31 pips, too far. Here's my entry. Stop loss. 30 pips, too far. This is probably more manageable. Okay, 17 pips. Now, where do I go? This is a 5 minute trade, right? I'm following the H4. Here's a yellow ball. 35 pips. Am I taking this long trade? Anybody?
No,
No.
I can on the 1, but I have to wait for it. Wait for it over here. This is a spike. So this is out. All right, so I'm now over here. Short trade, right? If you're trading the Asian session. Stop loss is like 2 pips. That's my 15-minute trade. 15 minutes against the grain. So here's my trade. 38 pips. Okay, good. I want a 1 minute trade. Here's my 1 minute trade. Here I'm going long. This is what I was trying to do. So now I'm here. 3 ball. Let's look at the 15th minute. 15 minute is blue. H1. H1 is blue. Okay, so let's see if 1 minute gives me a good entry. I don't have the data. Yikes. Okay, so I have to take my entry on the 5 minute. Yes, because I don't have enough data. Okay. So here's my entry. Stop loss. 23 pips, too far. Entry. Okay, acceptable, 16 pips. I know my trade is on the 1 hour. Where's my exit, guys? Right here. You agree?
Yes.
Well, you're taking your exit on the 3 ball, is that right? But if
Yeah.
but it
Uh,
moves, it moves, so it was,
If it move, okay, so I don't have to take it there, I can take it here. But both of them turn red, which is
Okay.
on the 3 ball.
okay,
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it could have been here, but everything was blue. Why would I take that exit?
Yeah.
And then it moved over here and it turned red. That's giving me a heads up, right?
right,
Now I got a blue, I know we've been through this already, but got a yellow ball. It's going sideways, right? Page 12 is not in sync. Or I can drop it to the 5 and see where I get my entry. Let's see, the entry was here. And let's see, that takes me out, right? It took me out over here. 15 pips. Next entry. Back to the 1. Where's my exit? Here's the first possible exit, right? Assuming the yellow ball was here.
Right.
116 pips. So I made 150 plus 116 minus 15, right? So like 250 pips. Now, where's my entry? Is this an entry on the 5? No. I have to wait for the 4 hour. Trickle, right there. Now, am I waiting till the end of the bar for the 4 hour? Probably not. As soon as it starts to flash blue, I'm going to a 5 minute. Okay, here's my entry. No. No. I don't have an entry. So there's no trade there. But if I go to the 1, will I find an entry? I'm just searching for an entry where my risk to reward is low. That's all I'm doing. It's the possible entry. Stop loss is here. It takes practice. I mean, you're not going to get it automatically. You go back to the H1 and you get taken out. No, you were entering on this one anyway. So you're still in the trade. 60 pips. That's 310 pips.
and once you're familiar with the system, it is as easy as that.
Should be. I
Mhm.
mean, it's telling you where the trade is, right?
Right.
Exactly where the trade is. What type of trader do you want to be? You want to be a position or semi-position trader, you're just following the D2. If you want to be a 15-minute trader intraday, you're following the H12. If you want to be a scalper, you're following the H4. And if all three get into sync, you have a wonderful trade.
Right.
Right here. All three go into sync right here. You don't even have to look at it on any other time frame. It's 28 pip stop loss on a 4-hour chart. With the potential of 160 pips. That's 1 to 5 or 1 to 4. 1 to 4.5. Something like that. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
I'm not going
Yeah.
too fast.
No, it's great. It's great you're going fast like that, because then you can look at all the different scenarios and the different examples and different types of trades. It fits every type of trader,
Right.
and it's great. Like Len was talking about longer term. I am at this point shorter term, so
Right.
I really like this a lot. I also have the simulator, but I can't get it to show the indicators at the bottom. I don't want to take up any time at this, right now, but if there's somebody that might be familiar with it that could help me later.
Yeah, that's Santiago. I mean, I don't have this.
Okay.
feature, so I
Okay.
purposely don't have it. I like to do hardball back testing, then rely
Okay.
on the system.
Okay.
Okay then, guys, have a good weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Raji.
much.
So
Get
much,
up with your
Raj.
time.
Thank you,
Really
Raj.
All right.
Appreciate
take it
your
easy.
time. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Everybody have a good weekend.
All right. Bye.